All right, today we are cracking open one of history's greatest cold cases. We're talking about the mysterious disappearance of an entire ancient superpower, a world that was, for all intents and purposes, completely erased from history. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. Imagine a civilization with huge bustling cities, complex international trade routes, incredible engineers, and then poof, they're just gone, wiped from the history books, leaving behind nothing but silent, empty ruins.
And you know what? This isn't some sci-fi plot. It really happened. For nearly 4,000 years, the memory of one of the world's great ancient cultures just vanished. It wasn't until a chance discovery in the 19th century that we even started to pull back the curtain on this incredible lost world.
Okay, so every good investigation starts with the evidence, right? Before we can even begin to ask where they went, we have to understand the sheer scale of who they were. And honestly, this first clue is absolutely mind-blowing.
Over 1,000. That's how many settlements archaeologists have found so far. And we're not talking about a few small villages here and there. No, these were organized towns and massive, planned-out cities spread across a territory that was actually larger than ancient Egypt. This wasn't just a kingdom. It was an empire.
To put that into perspective for you, we all know about the Great Pyramids in Egypt, right? And the ziggurats of Sumer? Well, at its absolute peak, around 2000 BCE, the Indus Valley civilization was right there with them. A true global superpower, thriving at the exact same time. These were their mega-cities. Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro are the two we've studied the most. And get this, at their peak, each of these cities probably had a population of around 30,000 people. That's huge for the ancient world.
And these cities weren't just a chaotic jumble of buildings. Oh no, they were meticulously planned. Almost every single city had this same two-part structure. You had the sprawling lower city, where most people lived their daily lives, and then a raised, fortified upper city or citadel that was likely used for government or big public ceremonies.
What's really astonishing is the uniformity. You find the same sophisticated street grids, the same standardized brick sizes across hundreds and hundreds of miles. Some homes even had their own private bathrooms that were connected to a citywide covered sewer system. That's an incredible feat of engineering for that time. All that consistency points to some kind of powerful central authority that was calling the shots on these massive projects.
So, we've got a pretty good picture of these amazing cities, but what about the people who actually lived there? Let's dig in and build a profile of the average citizen of the Indus Valley.
Well, for one, they were master traders. We actually know this because their trading partners in Mesopotamia wrote about them on ancient clay tablets. They called the Indus Valley Meluha. They were exporting all sorts of luxury goods, precious stones, cotton, and in return, they were probably importing key tech like how to make bronze. This was a global economy 4,000 years ago.
And here is some of the coolest proof of that trade. Archaeologists had found thousands of these little stone seals. A merchant would press their own unique seal into a wet clay tag on a shipment of goods, basically signing their name to it. Think of it like a 4,000-year-old shipping label. It's incredible. Now, their specific beliefs are still a bit of a mystery, but we've found these fascinating figurines that look a lot like later Hindu gods, like Shiva. It's a really tantalizing clue that maybe their culture didn't just vanish into thin air. Maybe its DNA survived the collapse and echoed down through the centuries.
Okay, so we've established our victim, a vast, sophisticated, and wealthy civilization. Now let's get to the central crime itself. Why did it all just end?
So this wasn't an overnight disaster. It was more of a slow, painful collapse that took centuries. After hitting their peak around 2000 BC, you can see things start to go wrong. By 1800 BC, that vital trade connection with Mesopotamia just stops. The line goes dead. After that, the great cities were slowly abandoned, one by one, until the civilization itself just faded away.
This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? The one that's kept historians up at night for a century. Where did millions of people go? Why would they just get up and walk away from these magnificent cities they had spent generations building?
Well, there's no single smoking gun, but we do have a lineup of the main suspects. The first two point towards some kind of environmental disaster. Maybe the river that gave them life changed its course, or maybe the monsoons they relied on for farming just failed. Then there's the older theory of a foreign invasion, but to be honest, most scholars are pretty skeptical of that one these days.
And this right here is the heart of the problem. This is why it's still a cold case.
We're like detectives who found the crime scene. We have all the physical evidence, the ruins, the artifacts, but we have no witnesses, no written testimony from the people who lived through it.
Which brings us to the final and maybe the most frustrating piece of this entire puzzle, their voice.
See, these people could write. We see their script all over the place, on those merchant seals, on pottery. It's a whole complex system of symbols. But here's the kicker. We have absolutely no idea what any of it says. We can't read their words.
Think about it. We can read Egyptian hieroglyphs. We know the history of Mesopotamian kings and their gods and their big battles. But the people of the Indus Valley? Total silence. Cracking their script is basically the holy grail for anyone studying this, the key that could finally solve the case. So for now, the case remains open. An entire world, home to millions of people, a pioneer in city planning and global trade, just gone. It's a pretty powerful reminder that even the biggest and most powerful civilizations can fall, and their stories can be lost to time.
And it leaves you with one last, kind of haunting thought, doesn't it? If a civilization this massive could be completely forgotten for 4,000 years, what else is buried out there right under our feet, just waiting for its story to be told?